what is up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you are new here, my name is Lana Tiati and I travel full-time with my partner, and I've been working for about a year now as an online English teacher, and frequently I get asked the question, how do you afford to travel, or how do you become an online English teacher? So that is what I'm going to be discussing today. How to become an online English teacher. So I thought today that I would break it all down for you, because I know when I first had the idea to become an online English teacher, I didn't know where to start. So I hope today that this can help answer your questions. So because most of these companies are for children, you do need to be interested in children somewhat and bring a lot of positive energy to your classes, because the kids will get really disinterested if you're not. Unless you're teaching audio lessons, most of the classes will be via a webcam. On a side note, there are a few companies out there which you can teach English online to adults, and just to name a few, there's italki and Cambly. Qualifications. Now, first and most importantly is your TEFL or TESOL certification. Now, I know some companies out there are quite lenient on this, or they will actually help you to get that TESOL or TESOL certification. So sometimes you don't need to worry about this too much, but personally I got mine before I went for the job. Any useful experience with children, such as teaching, coaching, tutoring, or babysitting, or even volunteering in another country with children, will look really great on your CV. You do need a bachelor. Now, this doesn't have to specifically be in teaching, it can be any kind of bachelor. So mine is actually in nursing, which is way far off teaching, so I was way out of my range here when I started with this job. But it is really cool to know that actually some companies out there don't require a degree in their qualifications, and I think one of those companies again is italki, from what I've seen online. And of course, since you're working with children, you will need a background check before getting hired. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I get a TEFL or a TESOL certification? Because there are a lot of companies out there offering you these courses, saying that they're the best TESOLs and that if you don't get them, you won't be able to get a job. But to be honest, really all they want to see when you're going for that job is that you've got the certification. They don't really care who you got it from, as long as you're certified. So me personally, I got mine off Groupon. So the Groupon course that I did has chapters for each topic, and at the end of each chapter you have to sit a mini test, and then at the end of all these mini tests you get your qualification. So it really doesn't take much more than 2 or 3 days to sit it. If you are looking to get the Groupon TESOL certification that I got, I'll link it down below for you guys. And also keep in mind to screenshot your certificate at the end, because the download button is kind of hard to find. What materials will I need? So obviously you'll need a laptop or a computer with a webcam. You'll need a stable internet connection, a reasonable speed of your Wi-Fi. So I think the minimum requirements for my company was 2 megabits per second for upload and 10 megabits per second download. So really not that high of a requirement at all. You will need a headset. So I think I got my one here at the supermarket for probably like $8 or so. It's really nothing fancy, it's not branded. I did buy my first one, it was a Logitech one, so I can highly recommend Logitech. This one's okay too. So as long as they can hear your voice, that's all that really matters. A teddy bear or a puppet, so I decided to just get a little teddy bear since I couldn't really find puppets at the $2 store, and I think I got this teddy bear for like $1 or something. It's just really easy to travel with, so I like the fact that it's small. Whiteboard and marker pens is another really good prop, because it allows you to do kind of different things and write words or play games, and it just keeps the children engaged. Having a reward system is super important. I kind of have a really basic reward system. I'll just high five the children, but if you wanted to go the extra mile, you can get a little magnet board, do magnets, just be really creative. I don't really have space because I'm traveling full time, so I just like to keep it more simple. For your interview though, make sure you do have a basic reward system. I think for my interview I use just a piece of paper with some stickers, so it really doesn't have to be that creative. Now, my personal favorite is having a microphone, because it allows you to sing and then get them to repeat back the words that you just told them to say, instead of just using your finger all the time. Sometimes it's nicer just to have a little prop to get them excited about the class. Now, most of my props are actually just bits of paper, because as I said, I'm traveling, so I kind of like them to be small enough to fit in my bag. So having paper cutouts is a really good prop. So I have like fruits, I have different emojis, so I have like the happy face, the sad face, and the angry face. You can just print off all the different emotions and teach them the words through emojis. I also have this little colour pinwheel to talk about the colours of the rainbow. Flashcards, I would say, is like the classic prop to have because you're always going to need flashcards. Like, you're always going to be teaching them the alphabet, so definitely get these. It's like a must for English online teaching, especially with the littlies, like the 4, 5 and 6-year-olds. They oftentimes, you'll be teaching them the alphabet every day, so you really will get a really good use out of these. I think I got mine at a $2 store, so that I think they cost like $1 or $2. Ethernet cords, now these are really important because especially when you're going for your interview, they want to see how fast your internet is with a wired connection. Now, I'm really lucky because after my interview, I didn't actually use an Ethernet cord, so I've just been using Wi-Fi everywhere I go. But certain companies like say ABC and Magic Airs and I think a few others, I think they're more strict on Ethernet cords. If you're in my situation where you're traveling, you can't always use a wired connection. Make sure to research the company and their requirements before actually applying for the job. Having good lighting is really important as an English online teacher because you obviously can't show the kid how to pronounce the words if they can't see your mouth or your face properly. Having visuals is super important. So I have bought, again from like one of those $2 shops, a USB LED light, and it works really well. Like, it lights up my whole face. And then another thing you can do is just to turn up the screen light on your computer or laptop, and that will bring so much more light rather than just your normal room lighting. What should I wear? Now, this is really important because obviously you can't wear shirts like this where they're showing your chest, so you do need to make sure you have a t-shirt that covers your shoulders and your chest, and make sure that it's a bright color. So I have just actually one of my boyfriend's old t-shirts. Like, I'm really budget, so I just got whatever was lying around, but it's a big bright blue t-shirt and it covers everything, and it's great because it's just all one block color. You don't really want to get something with too many patterns on it because you want the kids to be looking at your face, not at your clothes. But because I'm working with Dada, we have to have a blue shirt because that's the uniform kind of regulations. But if you're with other companies, I think some of them have a color code, or they just ask that you wear like just one block color t-shirt. Makeup is optional. Now personally, I don't wear any makeup. I literally just wake up out of bed, wash my face and start teaching. But I know when I first started I was wearing foundation because I was a little bit more conscious of what I looked like on camera, but nowadays I don't really care so much. I do know some other girls, they wear lipstick because it accentuates their lips, and when they're teaching, the children can see the movements of their mouth and learn how to pronounce the words. But it really does all come down to personal preference and what you feel comfortable with while you're teaching. What companies will hire me now? I've got all these qualifications and props and I don't have a job. Well, here's a few companies that you could get jobs with. So there's Dada, which is my company, and I'll link it below for you guys if you wanted to check it out. There's Say ABC, VIP Kids, Magic Airs, Cambly, Go-Go Kids, Bling ABC, iTutor Group. There's so many. Like, sometimes I'll hear of an English teaching company and I'll be like, oh my god, I've never heard of that company's name before, because there's literally so many out there. So just do your research and read up and see which company suits you best or what kind of pay you're looking for. Where do I find information on these jobs? Well, I would say the best place to go is Facebook. So you can literally just type in ESL Online English Teaching on Facebook and there'll be quite a few groups that will show up. And most of the people on there are pretty happy to answer your questions, and they have really good knowledge because they're obviously already English teachers, so they can kind of direct you to like the best companies to work for that are meeting your requirements. I know for me, for instance, because I'm from New Zealand, I couldn't go for all the companies that were looking for Americans, so some people would be like, oh, you know, check out VIP Kids or check out Dada. So I was like, okay, and I started applying for those companies. And I even got someone to look at my CV because I really didn't know what my CV should look like. So yeah, people are really helpful, and don't be shy to message. There's quite a few really good YouTubers on here that actually show you them actually teaching classes. So what I did was just kind of imitate what they would do and then put my own spin on it. And I found that really helpful. There was also Pinterest, and obviously I googled a heck of a lot of stuff too. And I also googled the companies that I was applying for as well. So yeah, make sure to do your research before applying for anything, and just ask people, because people are willing to help you if you're willing to ask. Do I need to speak Mandarin? And the answer to this question is no. I only speak one language, and that is English. So yeah, all you need to do is speak really clear, slow English and use your TPR, so like How are you? How are you? That's literally all you need to do. TPR, clear, slow English. They do prefer native speakers, so if you're a native English speaker, you'll have a greater advantage on everyone else. Of course, if you do speak Mandarin, this is kind of like an added bonus because you can teach them English words that are kind of hard to show using TPR. So, but yeah, there's usually a little translate section. I know working for Dada, we have a little message chat box thing, and I can translate in Mandarin anything that I can't really say or physically show them. Do I need to plan the lessons? No, you don't. So most companies will plan the lessons for you. All you have to do is show up and start teaching. It's really that simple. At first, when I started teaching with Dada, I was quite nervous about teaching the classes even though they're already planned for me. So the night before my classes, I would read through each lesson and kind of get all the props ready that would go with that class. After time, you kind of build confidence and you build that knowledge and practice, and you just feel really good at what you're doing, and you don't really need to read the classes the night before. But definitely, if you are new to teaching, I would recommend reading all your classes before teaching them, because sometimes in the middle of a class you don't really want to be like reading what you have to do while you're teaching it, because that wastes time. What should I do in the interview? Well, prior to the interview, I know I had to film myself and make a few videos giving a short introduction about myself, and also I think there was another video I had to make just reading like a little children's story. You do have to do that prior to some of your interviews, but not all companies ask for this. In the actual interview, you will be either on webcam via their platform, or you'll be on Skype. Now, what they're looking for is someone who's super smiley and positive, so make sure that you're very energetic, just as much as you would be inside your class. And then after they ask you, so they pretty much just ask you about yourself, ask you what your degree is, ask you any previous experience you've had with children. They ask you some very basic questions. They will make you do a demo lesson for about 10 to 15 minutes to the recruiter. This can be awkward at first, especially since you're not actually teaching it to a 5-year-old, you're teaching it to like some 30-year-old grown adult. And it does seem a bit weird, but you need to do really good in the interview, because usually this will determine how much you will get paid. So you want to make sure you practice before your interview. Usually they'll send you the demo lesson before your interview, so you can practice this at home. Using TPR in your interview is so good. They'll think you're really skilled if you do this. So just be like, what is your name? What is your name? Yay, Amanda! Hello, Amanda! Just do stuff like that, because I swear you'll kill it in the interview if you use this. And another thing you need is singing. So if you know any children's songs, that's great. Just sing the ABC, sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You'll get away with anything. You know, just really use that time to show them that you're energetic and you're positive and you can sing, and make the lessons really fun for the kids. What I would do is keep a few like really good props next to you for your interview. So obviously the microphone for the singing, an apple because you're probably going to get the letter A, and your teddy bear or your puppet, so that you can show them that you're going to use this to help the kid engage with you more, because some of the children are quite shy and you want to show them that the kids won't be scared of you. Also, you're going to need a really nice background. So I think I used to have 2 really big posters you might have seen in my previous video where I talked about teaching. I had the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. Just have something fun and colourful. A lot of people have the world map. This will just make it look like you're really prepared to be an English teacher. Once I'm hired, will I be fully booked? Honestly, this is kind of an iffy question, because it really depends on the company and how many people they're hiring, or the time of the year that you got the job. I know there was a girl I was talking to about a month ago, and she got her job during the summer holidays, and obviously a lot of kids were at the beach and they were on holidays with their families and stuff like that. There was less students coming to class, but if you're new, you don't have regulars yet, so you need to build those classes up. When I first got hired with Dada, I didn't actually have this problem. I was fully booked from like the get-go, apart from in the holidays. That's kind of like their downtimes where you might want to book yourself in for more hours. Make sure to keep your availability really open. So what I do is I keep mine open 5 days a week for all of the peak periods. So the peak period is from 6 to 9:10 p.m. Beijing time. So you want to keep all of those periods open. The more slots you have open, the more availability you have, the more likely that you're going to get bookings with these students. I would say if it's taking you a while to get regular students, wait at least a month, because it really does take time for some people to build up those regulars coming back to them. How much money can I make? Now this really depends again on what company you get hired with, but I would say most of the companies kind of pay about the same. So I know they pay on average about from 16 US dollars to 28 US dollars. Some companies a little bit more, some companies a little bit less. How do I get paid? Now I get paid through a direct bank transfer. This is just personal choice because I wanted it to go straight into my bank. So that does cost me 30 US dollars a month because I have a New Zealand bank account, and obviously I'm not Chinese, so I don't have a Chinese bank account. You can either get paid through platforms like TransferWise or PayPal, and these do have a fee as well. So you can do your own research into that and see what is the best way to get paid. What hours can I work? Now I work, as I said before, from 6 to 9:10 p.m. Beijing time, Mondays to Fridays. You can also work all day on the weekends. They have so many slots open. You could probably work for like 12 hours on the weekend. So this really depends on what you would want. And I know you can also open up slots on the weekdays before and I think maybe after the peak times with my company. Yeah, this depends how many hours you would want to teach a day for. There is another company out there called iTutor Group, and I'm pretty sure that they teach 24/7. So you can teach from whatever time of the day you would like. But do keep in mind it's better to teach at peak times because this is when you're going to get more bookings. Now they do have minimum requirements for the amount of hours that you have to work a week. So for Dada the minimum is at least 2 days a week for at least 2 hours. And I think other companies have a sort of similar requirement to this, if I'm not mistaken. How do you travel with this job? Well, it gets hard sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but we always have to check with the Airbnbs that we book with. We have to message them before and make sure that they have suitable Wi-Fi. I even ask them for the Wi-Fi speeds. Or if you're apartment hunting, just make sure to do a quick speed test with speedtest.net. It's really good, they give you a pretty accurate speed test. For Dada, the minimum speeds, as I said before, was 2 Mbps upload and 10 Mbps download. If you are going to travel with teaching, you kind of need your own private space to teach in because you need quiet. You can't teach in a loud space, so it's not really suitable for backpacking in a dorm room unless you know that dorm room's going to be quiet at the time that you're teaching. It's better to get a private room, or I just like getting Airbnbs because you're guaranteed good Wi-Fi and you're guaranteed that private space. Also making sure that you're staying in a city that has good Wi-Fi, because you can't really be on an island in the middle of nowhere that has no Wi-Fi internet connection. You need to be in a place that has good Wi-Fi. I really like staying in places where there's lots of digital nomads because you're almost guaranteed there to be good Wi-Fi there. If you are interested in working for Dada, which is the company that I work for, I have the referral link below for you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope this was really informative for you guys. If you do have any more burning questions that I didn't answer, please leave them down below. I'll be really happy to answer them. If there's anything else that you think I forgot, leave it down below because I'm sure there's plenty of other ESL beginners who want these questions answered as well, so leave them in the comments below. And if you guys wanted to continue watching some of my travel vlogs, I'm in Croatia at the moment, so I'll leave the playlist above for you guys to continue watching.